Community Connections. I'm John Call, and I'll be your host. And today we're looking at a great nonprofit organization called Lucy's Love Bus. And I'm joined by Jackie Walker, their executive director. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fascinated by your charity. It was really started by an 11-year-old girl.
It was.
And her mom.
Yep.
But Lucy, the 11-year-old girl, had cancer and was tired of cancer, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And she was feeling that she was losing or missing a lot of the important things in her life because of that, and didn't want other children to go through that. Is that correct?
That is very true, yeah. So Lucy was an Amesbury resident, and she was diagnosed with AML, which is the adult form of leukemia, when she was 8 years old. And so she went through 4 years of grueling treatment, and thanks to the community of Amesbury at this time, and this was the early 2000s, they really rallied around her family, kind of provided her family with everything they needed. And when basic necessities and childcare for her siblings was covered, she really, her family is really focused on quality of life. You know, she's going through these toxic treatments. New drugs haven't been developed in decades. Even to this day, there's not a lot of innovation. So she was really missing out on those things that helped her feel like a kid, helped her feel good. So luckily, the family was able to connect her to acupuncture, music therapy, horseback riding, things that brought her joy during some really, really challenging times. And so Lucy was actually being treated at Tufts Floating Hospital for Children, which has since closed their pediatric oncology wing, but she was in her bed and looked out the windows and said, "Mama, we're in Chinatown, right?" And her mom said yes. And she said, "Then why can't I get acupuncture here?" Acupuncture for Lucy was one of the only things that helped her feel good when she was going through chemotherapy. It was one of the only things that took the nausea away. So she knew chemotherapy was medicine to fight the cancer, and to her, acupuncture was medicine
To fight the chemo.
So why wasn't it just a medicine that was paid for like everything else? And so her mom kind of explained it wasn't covered by insurance. It wasn't seen as a type of medicine, even though it helped. So the only reason she could do it was because of the community that, you know, helped raise funds and that sort of thing. So Lucy decided when she was done with cancer that she was going to make sure that all of her friends who were suffering right now, the ones that a cure was going to come too late, that they had access to these same things that she did that brought not only physical relief, but really, really joy and a chance to be a quote unquote normal kid during this time. So she called it Lucy's Love Bus because she was thinking of things that would deliver love and comfort. So she founded Lucy's Love Bus from her hospital bed. She did unfortunately pass away about 6 months later, but that was in 2006. So next year is our 20th anniversary, and Lucy's Love Bus has helped almost 2,000 children with cancer and their families in New England since that time. So her dream is very, very, very much alive and being carried out, you know, more than she probably expected or could plan, but her mission still drives us every single day.
Well, a 20-year legacy, that's actually wonderful.
Yeah.
And especially for her mom who co-founded this with Lucy. But now some of the things that you had mentioned, acupuncture and things like that, massage, they're integrative therapies. Can you describe them a little bit more for people who aren't familiar with integrative therapies?
Sure. So integrative therapies, you know, at Lucy's Love Bus, we have a pretty loose definition, and it's really things that help and don't hurt. So traditional integrative therapies are often complementary to traditional medicine. So things like yoga, acupuncture, massage, they focus on whole body wellness as a part of, you know, recovering from any sort of illness or just being healthy and maintaining that well-being. So, you know, things that sometimes we see a direct connection to relief physically and from anxiety, that sort of thing, that when a child is going through cancer treatment or you know, any of us facing something, guided meditation, mindfulness can really help bring us back to how we're feeling in this moment, think of how we want to be feeling and connect all of that together. So we pay for a lot of those things, but we also, because we focus on things that help and don't hurt, we pay for a lot of things that stretch a little bit integrative therapies, but are very much complementary activities that bring joy. So we pay for a lot of swimming lessons, therapeutic horseback riding, art therapy, music therapy. We pay for a lot of gym memberships, personal training sessions, especially for a lot of teens that get diagnosed with cancer and suddenly find that, already going through a changing time with their body, add in lots of treatments, and so really looking to rebuild their strength and confidence. And that's really what we focus on, is empowering these young people to have a say in their care when they often have no say at all what happens to them in their bodies. So yeah, we really focus on things that help and don't hurt, and whole body wellness as an important part of getting better.
It's really wonderful, and you had mentioned teenagers. This is available to anyone under 21, correct? So
anyone diagnosed before the age of 21. So we do still support people that are above the age of 21 that were diagnosed, with childhood cancer, because childhood cancer is an umbrella term. It's 12 major types of cancers, but hundreds of subtypes because it's so rare. Treatments are very much experimental, and so a lot of times they're using adult-based treatments on little bodies, and so a lot of times there's significant late effects. And so we kind of say we're with families from diagnosis to beyond, whatever that might mean. And so that means that we don't have an age limit. Families and kids don't age out of our support, and we can help them as long as it's needed, and as long as we're able to keep doing what we're doing and raising the funding, and really making them see that just because the treatment technically ended, there's a lot that happens after, and even into adulthood that they're coping with, that there's not a lot of research out there about. So we try to at least provide continuity of care, give them the chance to do those things that they might have started years ago, and know that a massage a month is what keeps them going for now. And if that's the one thing we can do and take off their plate and have them look forward to, and they're in their late 20s, we're happy to do it.
Right, wonderful. And this is not just for the children with cancer, but also for their siblings and their parents as well, right? I mean, you're trying to do the whole package and help everybody deal with this childhood cancer, not just the poor child who has it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to our funders in our community, in 2022, we were able to launch the Sajni's Siblings and Eileen's Caregivers programs, so that we could offer those same individual integrative therapies to siblings and parents as well, really recognizing the toll that childhood cancer, that a diagnosis has on the entire family. The siblings often, their happiness is sort of put on the back burner, and what this year, more than most years, has shown us is how much the quote-unquote extra things kind of get cut first in times when families don't have the money to add on something. And so for a sibling who's already going through such upheaval with a child's diagnosis, to continue something like gymnastics classes, to be with their peers, to have that hour or so every week where they get to just flip around and have fun, and if that's the thing that we can help not be cut from what they're going through, then yeah, we're happy to make that happen. And same with parents. For parents, we end up paying for a lot of spa sessions for moms, a lot of gym memberships again for the whole family, and really that's been the hardest one to sell, because parents are any parent obviously is going to put their kids first, and it's tough to get them to focus on their own well-being.
Certainly.
But that's important that they are able to be their best selves for what they're going through. So we convince them to take some time for themselves as much as possible, and offer them these opportunities to either get away for a weekend, or even just an hour for a little bit, and focus on themselves, and so the whole family can try to have some opportunities for joy, both individually and together.
Yeah. It's kind of like the airline safety message. You got to put your oxygen mask on first before
Yeah.
you help your children and put it on. Because if you pass out and can't do them, then you're all go down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your children.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so let's talk about your staff a little bit.
Sure.
Obviously, there's a lot involved here besides coordinating between hooking someone up who contacts you with the care providers who are actually doing the various therapies. So what kind of staff do you have that filters through all of this and finds all the right people in all the right places?
We have an amazing staff. We have a lean staff. So there's myself as executive director. We have Stephanie Moran, who is our director of development, and then we have 2 full-time and 1 part-time program staff members who are, really getting the work done. And so we have our children's programs manager, Carrie Polovich, and she is the one for the patient, child, and the siblings who really connects them to their services. And sometimes it can be really quick. If a family comes in, the kids all know what they want to do. A lot of times, if it's somewhere that they've been going either before treatment or the siblings are going to now, it's just a matter of connecting with the business they want to continue with, having them fill out some paperwork, and then kind of get set up. But a lot of times, I asked recently what the percentage was, and it's something like 60% of the time parents have no idea what the kids want to do, or the kids have lots of ideas of what they want to do. And so it's sort of, okay, my one child is dealing with a lot of anxiety and has a lot of, energy. What do you recommend? But we can only do it on Tuesdays, and it has to be accessible by public transportation or something. So, for a lot of these families, they have a lot of limitations based on all the appointments and that sort of thing. And so being able to take over finding the right people with the right openings and who are, depending on what the service is, qualified to work with the family can take a long time. And in the middle of all of that, you might call a parent to give them an update on this place has an opening for your child next month. We'd love to get you in. And that can turn into a 3-hour phone call on what else is going on with your family. And they just sort of, over time, really start to share a lot and lean on us. And, even if we can't do it as Lucy's Love Bus, we know a lot of people in this, in this community, both childhood cancer organizations and beyond, who can usually help them with additional financial assistance, or if they might need a wheelchair for a little bit or something like that. We try to make those connections. So Carrie manages, the pinpointing the activities for the kids, and then for the parents, we have Colleen Tierney, who is our caregivers program manager. Colleen is also the mother of a child who had cancer herself, who is still going through late effects, and so she runs our weekly support group for mothers and female caregivers. And she also is working on a lot of training. We have a lot of group programs that we do as well, and so as those continue to grow, we need more and more volunteers. And so we're working on a training to make sure that volunteers who come to our programs really have at least a little bit of a sense of what it's like to work with not only children with cancer, but families, and how to respond in some situations. And so we're developing that as well. And then Maria Joffrion is our final program team member. She supports our Spanish-speaking families, and she is also the mother of a child with cancer herself as well. So, 2/3 of our programs team are coming from the background of being caregivers to children with cancer. They know about Lucy's Love Bus because their family has gone through the programs, and in some cases still going through and being supported by our different programs. So it's really important to us that those voices are front and center in staff and on our board as well. We have some. We have a former, patient, a young person who's I think 22, who just joined our board a couple months ago, and so it has really been integral in guiding where we are now, but especially next year with a strategic plan coming up, going to really be helping us. And so, our staff gets a lot done. We work with we also have an in-hospital program, at MGH, Bay State in Springfield, Hasbro in Providence, and UMass Worcester, where once a week, at least once a week, we have somebody come in and do a different type of modality bedside for the patient. So it's acupressure at Hasbro, and then a mix of massage, art therapy, and meditation / mindfulness for the others. So we try to get these families and these patients sort of wherever they are on their journey, and our staff really tries to do that as best as we can. And so we end up working with about 600 to 700 individuals a year through all of our programs, and so we're
break that down for me. 600 individuals. You're talking about patient individuals and their families,
and
right?
their family
and their
members.
Yeah,
Whatever, yeah. So so it ends up being about like 120 for Lucy's children, about 100 for Sajani's siblings. For Sajani's siblings and Eileen's caregivers, we're only in year 3, so we're still kind of like figuring out what that looks like. But let's say it's about 100 through all of those. Our hospital programs, there's 4 of them, and they each see about 100 a year, and that's primarily patients. And then we have our group programs, and a lot of times those participants do overlap with all of the other folks and all the other programs, but it ends up kind of averaging out at 600 to 700, and a lot of them return year after year.
That's great. So if it sounds like you outsource a lot of these therapies, what percentage of your, I'm going to call it patient care, is in-house, whether it's a group session with the caregivers or visiting patients directly, versus you're contacting a massage therapist and they're doing the massage, or an acupuncturist or whatever? Yeah,
so we have between 1 and 4 group programs a month throughout the year, and that's where anywhere from our smallest programs are aerial yoga, where we're limited to 7 people because we only have 7 aerial yoga silks. But we had a program, sort of like a fall fest in September, and that had 100 individuals come to it. And so those are the ones where we either on our own or jointly with another organization, or hiring a facility that we go to, offer the programs. And so aerial yoga is in our actual space in Amesbury. This weekend we have barn babies, where baby barn animals come.
Oh, cute.
That's in the morning, followed by healing through horticulture, and all of that is at our space in Amesbury. But what we really learned moving through COVID, even a little bit before that, was that patients and families, especially because they have to travel so often for treatment, getting into Boston and parking and all traffic and having to do it several times a week is really challenging. So they really were looking for things that were near them. So we have a set network where a lot of times, if people come from areas where we have a lot of connections, if somebody were to come from Danvers and they said, I'm looking for in-home massage for my child, I bet we have 5 people ready that could work with them. So that is how we originally operated, was, we have this existing network of people that we have vetted, qualified, and can connect you to. But then we started having, as we grew, we had people from upstate Vermont who wanted massage, and we didn't have anybody already set up. So, or then we really learned that they wanted to go back to gymnastics that they had been doing prior to starting treatment, but their parents couldn't afford it, but they knew where they wanted to go. They wanted to jump back in. They wanted to be with their friends. They weren't a part of our network. Could we make that happen? So a couple of years ago, we went through this process where we really, we met with a law firm. We went through a bunch of really boring insurance things to say, if this is what the families are asking for, can we make this happen? Can we expand how we do it? So we moved to that model. So it did change the percentage of sort of like in-house therapies that we offer, but what we do is really make sure people are qualified. We handle all of the invoicing. For hospitals, that's really appealing because it means we take on all of the liability for everything, and it means that those patients get service right at their bedside that the hospital's not going to pay for, but we will.
Right.
So I think it probably comes to below 50%, but there's a lot of that middle ground where we talk to the parents pretty frequently outside of just connecting them to services for support and that sort of thing. So, but between those group programs, and then there's the weekly parent support group, there's a monthly fathers and male caregiver support group, and there's a bi-weekly Spanish support group. So, we still have those going on, and that we are sort of responsible for facilitating, but I'm not a trained massage therapist, and I live in a certain area, and if a kid in Connecticut wants martial arts, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's sort of making it as easy as possible for these families to get what they want is sort of our motto.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Now, I know you're always looking for money, which brings me to the question of these people that are providing the therapies that you outsource to. Do they offer you a discount because you're dealing with children with cancer?
Some of them do. When we first started, we really wanted to pay people the rate that they were typically asking for, and that was based on, we see such value in what you do, and we want to acknowledge that and communicate that to our funders, that there's so much value in what you do. As we've grown, obviously that continues to be a challenge. So what we have sort of instead offered to people who are interested in that is saying, let's say, so typically a child gets $1,000 a year for services. We hold on to all that money. We pay the practitioners directly for their services so that the family doesn't incur any out-of-pocket expense. It makes, they don't have to do anything as far as bookkeeping. The IRS prefers that we do it this way as a nonprofit. If you give money to a family, it makes people giving donations to Lucy's Love Bus harder because you can't earmark it for a certain family. So a bunch of technical stuff with that. So we pay them directly, and let's say, depending on what the service is and how often the child does it, kind of also dictates how fast that money goes through. So therapeutic horseback riding is definitely one of the most expensive things that we pay for, and that $1,000 can maybe get about, at absolute most, a half a year of riding. So if somebody is interested in offering discounted services, we factor that in. We'll say, okay, what if we did that so we can extend how long they can go, or during that break in funding, because then after that 1,000, they'll get more next year, but there's that 6-month sort of gap in funding. That's where we kind of negotiate with them and say, would you be interested in donating some services to help fill that gap? We do have connections with other organizations that we also start to refer to help with that gap, but the discounts from practitioners is something that we have started kind of incorporating in that. Sometimes if a child gets a massage once a month, even if they might want more, their schedule doesn't allow, what have you, they might never have a gap in funding just because it stretches much farther for longer. And in that case, sometimes we'll say to a massage therapist, we have our butterfly benefit where we're looking for donations of gift cards. Would you consider doing that? Or the parent wants massage as well. Their funding is out. Would you consider donating a massage to them? So we definitely have a lot of people, a lot of the practitioners in our network who are very giving and generous and want to help in that way. But we do also want to recognize that what they're charging is often very much a reflection of their qualifications and expertise. A lot of time, we only, if a child is in active treatment, we only send them to massage therapists that are oncology certified for massage. Yep. And every patient, no matter what they do, has clearance from their oncologist to participate in whatever they're doing. But that just means that sometimes if they have to go to a certain person, it's going to cost a little bit more. Yep. So we generally work it out in whatever way they're willing to do it. But there's so much value in what they're doing. We try to capture all that data and share it with our funders and communicate the need for these highly qualified people to deliver relief in a really safe way.
Yeah, that's great. Jackie, you are a wealth of information. You'd mentioned this $1,000 funding. Where does that come from?
So the $1,000 is, so when a child applies for either our Lucy's Children, so the patient, or the Sajni Siblings program, their first sort of funding award is $1,000, and that's, you know, from Lucy's Love Bus. We manage all of that. We pay it to the service provider directly. But you know, where that comes from, our revenue is primarily from private foundations, corporate sponsorships, individual donations, and events. For the most part, is how we get our funding. And so, you know, sometimes, especially for private foundations, they might restrict it to, you can only use this for children with cancer in Massachusetts. So we track all of that. Some it's only for children between the ages of 5 and 17. We make sure that that's only going to those patients. So that's sort of how we give that money out. So the first, usually the first year, the first time they apply, they get this $1,000 that we spend out of, and then every 12 months after that, they're eligible for $500. So you know, when Lucy first started this back in 2006, that went a lot farther than it goes now. But in order to keep up with the demand of newly diagnosed patients or new to us patients, as well as continuing to support those who have been with us for a while, who know that the only way they're going to get whatever they're doing is through Lucy's Love Bus, we you know, that's the amount we can offer each year in a somewhat sustainable way for us. The Caregivers program at this time is only a one-time grant, and that's $1,000 per couple. So an ultimate goal is to make that recurring or an annual grant as well for the caregivers, but we had such an extreme increase in the demand this year for our programs serving kids that, you know, if we were to move it to a recurring model, that's at least another couple years away to make sure that we can raise the money in a sustainable way to keep that going and not have to change it back to one time.
So before I go on air and ask all our corporate people out there to donate to you, let's give your corporate partners some love. Who are some of your corporate partners and sustainers?
Sure. So Virtue Jewelers in Newburyport, Mass. Is a huge partner of ours. I think it's, by the time this airs, it'll be a little bit late, but November 20th, they're doing a Rolex raffle for us, and they give very generously every year, so keep an eye out for next fall. And they help with our butterfly benefit as well. Stag Industrial is very supportive, does a lot, especially for our butterfly benefit. The Rhythm Tree and Ryan Judd, he is a local to Exeter, New Hampshire musician who gives a portion of his sales to Lucy's Love Bus. And we're just, you know, always looking for more people. This year, you know, we're coming up on our 20th anniversary, so our butterfly benefit this year is really like a 20th birthday party. And so we're kind of transforming this 2026 the sponsorship to be both corporate and event. So you know, any new sponsors would get a big chance to have, you know, a display at the butterfly benefit. The Love Bus will be there. It's going to be a little bit of a 2000s throwback theme. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunities for maybe names on bubble furniture or something like that. So we're trying to figure all of that out right now. But yeah, so we're really looking for new partnerships, continuing partnerships. We have some great offerings in addition to promotion at our events. We, you know, based on sponsorship level, we can also have the opportunity to do sort of like a corporate engagement activity. And previously, I've mentioned Stag Industrial. Previously, we've done, you know, like yoga for their employees, that sort of thing, give them a taste of what what we do with some of the kids. So we try to bring that piece into what we do as well.
Excellent. Yeah, my wife is a pediatric case manager at Mass General.
Okay.
So she sees a lot of these cancer patients come through.
Wow.
And yeah, God bless you for what you're doing and the people that you're supporting, because I say to her, my best day in the world doesn't compare to anything you go through, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank her for that work.
That's. Yeah. So individual people sponsoring you or supporting you, how do they do that?
So you can visit our website or give us a call, give us an email. We are happy to talk with you a little bit more. You know, we have our donate page on the website, but if there's other ways you're interested in getting involved or giving, happy to chat more about that. As I mentioned, you know, even volunteer-wise, we're going to have a lot more opportunities in 2026, just based on all of the families and, you know, a lean staff. We always need some more hands.
Right.
So it's a good chance. We have some opportunities where families can come and help. You know, there's a lower age limit for a couple of things. But as far as donating, you know, go to our website and send us an email, get in touch. We'd love to chat. You know, we're based in Amesbury. We serve all over New England, but when I say I can tell you exactly where every single dollar goes, it makes an immediate difference, especially right now with the number of applications that we've gotten this year. We do have a short wait list. So we're keeping it to under 3 months, and we're moving any urgent cases to the front, but we are, you know, on a little bit of a wait list. So essentially every $2,000 that comes in right now, we're able to move one person off the wait list, get them started right away, while building up, you know, a little bit before January 1st when it still happens, but it all rolls back. So,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I love it on their website. When you click on donate, the money is tied to specific examples, and I'm sure it doesn't have to be used for that, but it just gives you a good idea of where your money is going. For example, $25 provides for swim lessons, $50 for an essential oil kit, $100 for acupuncture sessions, $250 for adaptive ski lessons. So that's good that it's not just money that you're giving, you're giving something that you believe is going to help these children and really be beneficial. I mean, obviously the money can be used for different things and everything is important.
Right.
But yeah, I've always felt when you're asking someone to do something, if you can give them an example of how that helps, who's benefiting from it and how they're going to benefit, that makes a world of difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, those are real case scenarios. I updated that very recently. So, you know, you'll see a picture of for the adaptive ski lessons. There's Jane, you know, she's local. She comes to everything. And like, you know, you would be making that happen. And I think that's pretty cool to know that right in your backyard, you're making a huge difference for somebody in your family, giving them some fun, safe fun, you know, this winter. I think we're coming into the holiday season, and every year we really highlight the story of one of the families that's a part of Lucy's Love Bus. And this year we have a really unique story that we're sharing, which is actually about one of the older people still involved with Love Bus. He's a 30-year-old, but has been with Lucy's Love Bus since he was 17. And we have been paying for fees associated with his fertility preservation since he went through cancer treatment as a teenager. And that's something that was really important to Lucy, was the ability to have that choice. When anyone is diagnosed with cancer, you have about 48 hours to make a decision on if you want to try to preserve your fertility. This is for males and females. And that's it. That's your window, because treatment starts right away. So a lot of times we will get phone calls from people saying this is an immediate $2,000 to $5,000 charge, but I lose it in this 48 hours. And so for us, it's a very big factor of quality of life, of being able to have that option later down the road. So Donald and his fiance shared their story with us, and we'll be posting about that throughout social media. And Donald wrote a letter that we'll be sharing in snippets, really saying, you know, nobody brags about their freezer bill, but this is where your money is going. It is going to all of these different ways that we, as those with cancer, have hope. Have hope thanks to Lucy's Love Bus, thanks to the donors. And so make sure to follow us on social media as well to see all of those sort of snippets coming up.
That's great. It really is. Tremendous programs that you're offering. Tremendous that you are helping pediatric cancer patients. An adult with cancer is difficult enough. Children who don't understand what's going on. I have a 3-year-old grandchild who's in her why questioning period now. I don't know how I would explain cancer to her. I don't know how I would explain why what's happening to her would happen. You know, so I can't imagine how difficult that is for the parents or caregivers of people, young children with cancer. But I'm glad that an organization like yours exists. I'm glad that you're doing so much to help so many. Anything else that we should talk about? Anything else that we missed?
I think I just want to say thanks for having me here. You know, we're, like I said, we're based in Amesbury, and the North Shore community has just been so supportive of Lucy's Love Bus and the work that we're doing, and it's been incredible. You know, we're in the business of saying we sort of hate when people have to find out about Lucy's Love Bus, but we're glad they're there, right? And so you never want more people in the North Shore to need support from Lucy's Love Bus, but the fact is there are people right in our backyards that are benefiting from these programs. And so you know, we're proud to be here and to give them options and opportunities for a lot of fun. We're planning our group programs for 2026 now. We're going to be going to hopefully places in Beverly and Georgetown, and so it's a great place to be, and we're just really thankful to have everyone's support.
Excellent, excellent. And how can the Danvers community, how can anybody watching us on YouTube, so they should donate personally. They should, if they belong to a corporation, they should get their business to donate. They can volunteer their time. There's lots of opportunities coming up where they can volunteer their time. One of the things you put on your website, which I thought was brilliant in terms of volunteering, is tell people about Lucy's Love Bus. You know, so you don't even have to get out and do something physical. Just if you know somebody with cancer, tell them about Lucy's Love Bus. It's an important way to disseminate the information and get it out there, and that's a form of volunteering. So. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, and you never know who's been touched by childhood cancer, and you know, an important thing to remember is that our services are available for anyone diagnosed before the age of 21 in New England. So even if the child is not in active treatment right now, but has been out for a couple years, there's a good chunk of people who find us that way because, you know, the child's been in treatment, they've been living in hospitals, they've been isolated, and then all of a sudden they're kind of thrown back into school and people who don't understand why their hair is growing back or that sort of thing. And so there are a lot of times when after treatment is the hardest part for the patients, but also especially for the families. So you never know who might know somebody going through that, but they're still eligible for participation in our programs, and we have lots of different ways. And I always say, you know, even if somebody says, oh, like, I don't want to take away from somebody else, or I'm not sure if my family could benefit from that, give us a call. We're happy to talk about it. We're happy to talk about the ways, you know, something you hadn't thought of might help, like art therapy or something like that. And so, and like I said, even if we don't know how to do it or don't do it ourselves, we usually know somebody who does. So always happy to talk more. So yeah, spreading the word is always a help.
Excellent. Well, Jackie, thanks again for being here today. To the Danvers community, to anybody watching us on YouTube and the surrounding communities, check out their website. Lots of great information on there. Lots of opportunities for you to volunteer and donate. And it's just a great, great story. So Jackie, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Thanks so much, you too.
Thanks. So Danvers, that wraps up today's show. And thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching today. And we look forward to our next time.